You say in the book, saints spread the faith like wildfire because they are willing to catch themselves on fire first. What do you mean?
I think it goes back to what we were saying, that you have to evangelize from the overflowing of your own heart. That when you catch yourself on fire, you look crazy. It looks foolish. Not literally here, obviously, but you've done something in your life to the extent that people are like, what are you doing? You know, and when you look at someone like Mother Teresa, right? I mean, she goes to the slums of India, and that's something that gets people's attention, you know, and she lived the life, and she didn't know how to, you know, get her brand marketed properly, or, you know, get her logo right, or, you know, write an email, or all those kinds of things. But it spread like wildfire, because it was real and authentic, and it was actually a fire. And so if it's actually on fire, then it spreads. So I think that's too often we're trying to push, you know, something that's just not, and we're trying to catch things on fire with stuff that's not even on fire itself yet. And we wonder why it's not working.
Who are some of your heroes?
So I'm a big, I mean, I love books. So authors are always some of the first I go to. I'm a big Peter Kraft fan. I could read every one of his books, although it's going to take me a while because he has like over 80 of them. But I've read a lot of them. G.K. Chesterton, Lewis, all those guys I love. I'm a big fan of Bishop Barron. Big fan of Matthew Kelly, guy I've read a few of his books. Definitely changed my life in a lot of ways throughout the years, both in my faith, in my business, in our work at Flocknote, all those things. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I love books. Those are all my favorite. In terms of real life, I mean, or not real life, but people I know, my wife for sure. She inspires me every day with her love and devotion to our family, and her you know, radical sacrifices for us. And you know, my parents, my grandfather was always inspiring to me. He actually became a Catholic priest after having a bunch of children. But after his wife died, he was a late vocation New Zealander. Really had a heart for the Maori people there, and spoke Maori fluently. And so he was called to vocation to be a priest for a Maori parish there, and that was always really inspiring to me. He was always kind of a spiritual, you know, guru I looked up to. He was always loved reading and quotes and poetry and all of those good things. Yeah.
Wow. That's a rich collection. You close out the book talking about freedom and raising the question, are we really free in a society where people seem so adamant about their freedom, and so loud about their freedoms? We seem not to ask the question that you raise in the book, and that is, are we really free? What are your reflections on that?
I think what most people think of freedom is not really freedom. I think most people think freedom is I can do what I want. But of course, if only you can do what you want, then you're actually just a slave to your wants. And so freedom is not being able to do what you want. It's being able to say no to what you want. So if you can say no to what you want, now you're free to say yes to what you should. And it's funny, we have this, it's something I've learned a lot with parenting too, because kids, it's just a natural human thing. It's like, well, I don't want to do that. Hey, I need you to clean up those toys. I don't want to do that. And so they're constantly learning. It's like a foreign concept to them that if I don't want to do it, I can't do it, you know? And I tell them all the time, I'm saying, well, you don't have to want to do it. You just have to do it. You're making this too confusing. You're putting too much pressure on yourself to think that you have to want to do it. You just have to do it. But it is a challenge, you know, like they don't get it at first. It's a hard concept, but it's one of the things for me and my kids I focus on a lot. I'm like, one of the things I really want you to learn before you leave our house is how to say no to what you want, because it would be the worst thing for me as a parent to send you out in the world and all you know how to do is what you want, because you will get in all kinds of trouble. and your life will not be happy. And I just think that's so core to, it's just such a starting principle for doing the right thing in the world, is that ability to say no to what you want so that you can do what you should. But yet all of our emphasis on personal freedoms is totally opposite that, you know? So I think that's a real problem.